Hey, welcome back to another conversation. Glad to be here with Pastor Steve. Great message this weekend about fitness. And I love the angle that we kind of took with this, which was not just like, hey, like exercise is good, right?
Right.
I really almost took it from the opposite angle, which is
Yes.
I was fit. Now
Yes.
I'm not.
Yeah, now
what do I
I'm
do
not.
when I'm not? So just share a little bit maybe about the heart behind that.
Well, the heart, a big part of that is so many times I think I've been on that journey.
Yeah.
And we get healthy in different perspectives of our life, and then all of a sudden we become unfit. And what's crazy, if you just look at us in general, we almost do it every year. We have this thing every year. Every year is New Year's resolutions, and before those New Year's resolutions, we spend like 6 weeks prior to that doing the most unhealthy things we could ever think of. We're not going to exercise, and we're going to eat everything in sight through all the holidays.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden January comes, and we're like, we can't fit into anything. What a surprise. It's like it's just happened last year too, and the year before. And we do this repeated cycle. So that really kind of challenged me on that piece. Why do we do those things constantly like that?
Yeah, in a way, it's like self-sabotage, right? It's like, I'm going to make this New Year's resolution, but then like I'm going to end the last 6 weeks of the year and this just, not thinking about. And it's really a mindfulness, right? And you talked about that, like what does it mean to be fit? We went back in kind of the dictionary term of that and some different things that it means. And one of those things that really struck me was just that you're made ready, that you're available. I'm fit to do this thing.
Right.
And that really stuck out to me because like that has less to do with like how many push-ups I can do and more about my willingness, right? What's inside of me that I'm available to be used by God this year.
Yes.
So many times I think we miss that. There's a lot of things going on. We talked last week with Pastor Allen's message kind of about how we don't have any margin in our lives. And this really piggybacks right on top of that.
Right on top of it.
Okay, maybe if we got some margin, but are we available?
Yes.
Are we fit to do this?
Yes. And I love the made ready piece because it really helped bring in the part of every aspect, the spiritual and the physical connection of those two. Because are you ready? Because life is going to happen.
Sure.
We're going to have things get thrown at us. This year in 2020, there's things going to be thrown at us. So are we made ready for those to happen? Are we? Because you can say, well, I'm prepared physically for those things, but are you prepared mentally for those things? Are we healthy enough with God in our relationship and our reading and our connection and growing? If a serious illness hits our family, I mean, are you ready to handle those things? If a financial something other hits us and crunches, because let me tell you, if any of those hit our family, there is no physical. The physical's gone.
Right.
So there's no way we can be fit if we're not really spiritually and physically fit and making that combination together.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. You can get so obsessed with one area, and you shared a little bit about that with you and running. That running became such an important thing. Like running's good, exercise is good. Setting goals is good. Yes. But then something derails you, right? Hey, can you pick up your kid from school? And it's like, oh man,
I ain't got time for that.
Don't you know? And I can think of times in my life where it's like, this is such an inconvenience. It's like, this is your family. Like, that's not an inconvenience. Don't do that. But
that's unfit.
Right.
That is so unhealthy.
You're
like,
not
how did I
available.
get there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, it went from running for God and being a great positive thing and building that spiritual connection to running was trying to creep in and be my God.
Yeah.
And we could get out of whack so easily, so quick in that.
When you take a good thing and try to make it the main thing, that's when it's not gonna sustain the weight of that, right? As good as whatever thing is, if it's budgeting, if it's exercise, if it's like, I'm gonna spend, time reading or praying or whatever, like those are all good things, right? Like
good things.
Yes to all of that,
Yes.
but there is a greater sense, in our life than just doing the thing, right? God doesn't just call us to do something. He calls us to love other people and to love him well, right? And to be loved by him. Yeah. That's actually the goal. Yeah. So, being available, when you think about that, is I'm available to love other people. Yes. I'm available to take those steps because I've, trained myself, right? Paul talks about this in the Bible about, training is a value, right?
Yes.
It's not unvaluable, right? There's nothing bad about doing those things, but what's the end goal, right? Is it to accomplish the marathon, or is it to be healthier for your life so you can serve God? Like those are different goals.
Those are different
even
goals.
though the doing is the same.
Yes.
So
yes.
I think that's good. And then let's kind of jump here toward the end of the message because I thought this was really good. You know, you kind of listed 3 ways. Like, so how do you get fit, right? If it's more than just exercise, right? If it's more than just doing P90X or doing, you know, whatever program or, you know, doing keto, like how do we get fit? So you said, number 1, find time.
That's what I hear from everyone. Any time that comes to sit with somebody and I can share with anything about health or physics, quiet time, any of it, spiritual and physical, it automatically comes to me, gosh, I don't know how to find the time.
Yeah.
You got to fight for it. You got to sit there and look at the importance of it, because if it's important to us, we will find the time.
Yeah.
I mean, plain and simple. If there's something you really desire, you're going to do it. When I was into running, I wanted to run, and my child being aggravated, and let me tell you, I done everything I could to find the time to be it. So you have to understand that importance and that connection, physically and spiritually, that you're going to fight for it.
You know, one thing I've started doing, and it's been really helpful. We talked about this a little bit last week too, is like I've been pre-assigning time in my calendar, like in Google Calendar, before other things fill it up. Because here's what I've found.
I do.
Things fill it up,
same thing.
right?
Yes.
It works so because other people, and I heard this on a podcast, somebody said, everyone, I think it was Michael Hyatt, everyone's fighting for your time, but you're the one who gets to tell them yes or no. And it feels like so much, you know, whether it's at work or with your kids or your family and extra, like everything feels like, oh, I got to do this. It's like, okay, well, when are you going to do those things you know you need to do? And if I can find that time at the beginning of the week and say, you know what, on Wednesday I'm going to block out 30 minutes here and an hour here, and I'm going to tell my time where to go. It's just like budgeting, right?
Just like
it's amazing that when you follow your budget, your money does the thing you said. And when you
where did all this come
it's
from?
Shocked, right?
Yes. And the time is the same way.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, okay, I love Bill Evans one time told me everything else. He said, you know, there is certain times you want to add 1 or 2 or 3 things and have it in there. But he said, cut it off after that. Because he said, you're going to keep on. It's like, well, if I don't get it done today, I can do it tomorrow. But he said, you lose the wins in that. Yeah. And he said, if I have my 2 or my 3 and I know it and put it, and then I filter me some time in between that, then I know after I get my 2 or 3, I got to win that day.
Yeah.
And I feel accomplished. I feel like I've met that goal. I met those things. And it doesn't feel like it's so much of a stress that, okay, I didn't get it all done, but I shoved it all over tomorrow. Because we're always shoving till tomorrow instead of, just like you said, build that cushion in there.
I've got in my task manager, I have a section called MIT, Most Important Tasks. And that's where those top 3 go, right? It's like if, you know, because I know in this mirage of things, I'm not going to finish every one. So which ones am I going to do that's going to move the ball forward in my, you know, in my job, in my family, and whatever, like what's most important. And then I'm going to celebrate that win.
Celebrate the win.
And then that gives you good perspective. And that leads kind of in the second thing you said, which was identify the roadblocks. What's keeping you from doing those important things?
And name them. Because if you're just going along thinking, okay, it's going to be great, no matter, even if it's going great at the beginning, you're going to have certain struggles and issues that you're going to come across. Identify them. Don't let them derail you. Don't let them just give up and it's not going to work because I have this. Identify those things and find out. Phone was a big one for me.
Sure.
And I had to sit there and identify that one. How do I get that under handle? What is keeping me from it? Because if it's keeping me from it, then either I've got to have a strong enough will to ignore whatever that is to go on, or I've got to have a different plan.
You know, last year on your iPhone and Android phones have this too, where it's like screen time. You can see how much time, not only how much time your phone was on, but how much time you use specific app. And I remember the first week that I turned that on, I was like,
how many hours?
Oh. And what was that? You know, like you start feeling like, oh, that's where my time went. It was on my phone. You know, it was.
And
like
you feel real good to me.
Says,
I just don't have that time. Like, really?
It was like you were on your phone for 5 hours. Like, well,
according to your phone, you have plenty of time.
And that's the thing too. Is like, and I would always say, well, like I can do so much work on my phone. It's like, well, let's just see what you were like. Oh, okay, that wasn't work. That was YouTube. You know, like that was, you know, like Instagram. Like you weren't in your email for 5 hours. That was 30 minutes. So, you know, that it's funny because we think we don't have the time because we don't name what's keeping us from holding us back, right? That'd be like saying, you know, hey, I'm going to eat healthier, but I'm not going to think about what I'm eating, right? Like you have to identify what you're doing, so then you can make a difference. And then the last one, I think this is perfect, is take pleasure in the journey.
Take pleasure in the journey.
That's hard. That's hard for us.
Yes, because I think sometimes we're so goal-oriented that we're trying to drive so hard to that goal, to reach that goal, to get that badge, to get that award, to get whatever it is, that we miss the whole journey. We miss all those moments and the pleasures and the greatness in it. And I'm like, gosh, that's life.
Yeah.
Kids, man, we want to get them graduated from school. Man, we want that journey. And it's going to be a great day, and we're going to cry, and it's going to be a great moment. But man, I don't want to miss all those 17, 18 years prior to that.
You know, this Christmas, my kids are 5 and 6 right now, which is like a magical age for just life in general. And as we were setting up all the Christmas stuff, my wife looked at me and she said, "Hey, let's not. This is the magic time, right? Don't." We got to seize this opportunity, to seize this part of the journey, because as much as it is like, oh, you know, you're moving to the next thing. You're always, you know, there's a goal ahead, and that's good. But like, man, to enjoy those moments is what matters.
Yes.
You know, and so and a lot of times, I know for me, you know, people look back and say something like, you know, I wish I realized when the good old days were, you know, because they already happened for me or whatever. And it's like, it's that thought of retrospectively, hindsight's 2020. Oh man, I should have been more present. And I would hate to get to a place at the end of 2020, right? It's a new decade. Yeah. It's a new year that feels like there's a weight to it. Yeah. And if we can enjoy the journey of this year and set ourselves up for a new decade, like, I think we can look back at the end of this year and be happy with that if we see the joy of that journey.
Yes.
Because if we only see it as annoying, we're not going to succeed, right?
No.
That's if you say I want to get in better shape this year, that's fine. But if you hate every minute of it, it's going to be hard.
It's going to be
going to be even harder.
Yes, and I don't think God intends it to be that way. Yeah. There has to be a thing in there that really draws you, that you can apply that. Simple things in life. Just to get us to be able to move, but also move with Him spiritually and physically at the same time.
That's good. So I guess, really to pull this together, the question for me and you and all of us, wherever you're watching this from, is are you available? Are you fit for this task of this year? There's a lot of stuff that we're responsible for. And I don't think we would be doing any service to be like, it's all good. Like it's hard.
It's
right?
hard.
Yes. Life is hard. It is difficult. There are going to be challenging things this year. We can, if it's not you, it's someone right? Something challenging is going to happen in your life. But if we're aware, if we have that readiness about us, when that does come, we can address it and kind of, get it head on and get ahead of ourselves versus waiting.
Yeah, it won't be so overwhelming.
Yeah, that's good.
In our life.
So, man, Steve, thank you so much.
Oh, gosh,
great message. If you haven't seen the message, go check it out. You can see it on our website, podcast, YouTube channel, all those places. And we'll be back again next week with another message series in the I Was Blank, Now I'm Not. You'll have to come back next week to see what we used to be, and now we're not. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, James.